Listen, let's go ahead and get started because we got a bit to cover. Thank you, Shane. Thanks very much. A bit to cover today. So let me hit this intro for you. So just so you know, I want to do a big shout out and say to everybody out there, hey, 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 what is up, y'all? This is your boy, Tommy Earl Jenkins, and welcome back to Joy to the Word, the Death Stranding edition, episode 8. This is now the 8th of a 10-part series where we are getting so very close to the end of this series. We are now only 3 episodes away, including today, from the final episode in the series. You know, as we continue delving deep into the world of Death Stranding via the character interviews. And as I've said before, and I will always say it before each episode, it's a chance for those of you who played the game and also for those of you who haven't to hear the backstory and in-depth information on how some of these characters have come together and how some of the relationships have been forged, as well as the lore and the history behind the Death Stranding, and pretty much how some of these characters have come to be and to exist in this incredibly beautiful and disturbing world of Death Stranding. But remember that some of these interviews could have spoilers. So if you haven't played the game or you have, just be warned. All of this as we are leading up to the highly anticipated director's cut, which is released on September 24th, so not long. Now, in this episode, I will be covering all of the entries in Higgs's journal, of which there are 26 entries listed in simply numerical order. So a little different from the interviews that we've done previously. This is more of a look into the life and journey of Higgs and what makes that crazy motherfucker tick. So, pardon my language, but let's go ahead and let's check this dude out because he's crazy. He's absolutely crazy. I'm just doing a little bit of adjusting and stuff here. We're all good, everyone. Yeah, I'm so happy that you guys could make it, and I'm just so looking forward to. Like I said, we're getting so close to the release date, and everything has been timing out so close with everything moving forward and trying to get this series to line up and finish just in time to give you something to just leap right onto. So the series will finish, and then you can jump right into that director's cut. So it's been a lot of work to try to lead it all up to, but I'm very excited about it. And I'm so happy, like I've said before, about doing these last interviews live. It's just a chance to see your reactions instantly, and it's been really good. I've enjoyed the process leading up to this, but these last 4 are probably going to be my favorite because I get a chance to feel like I'm really connected with you guys as well. So the other thing is that next week we've got, today is 8. And then we've got 9 and 10. So we only got 3. We've got today, and then we've got 2 more after, and then we are out. We're out of here. But just so you know, next week, the episode 9 is going to be on Monday. And episode 10, the finale, the end of it all, is either going to be on Wednesday or Thursday next week. So you're getting the last 2 episodes in 1 week. So hold on to your socks. And it'll be an interesting one as well. So just know that next week there are 2 coming, definitely on Monday and on Wednesday or Thursday next week, because on the 24th, which I believe is on the Friday. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, the 24th is going to be next Friday. Director's cut coming at you. So listen, I'm excited about it. I'm excited. I'm kind of sad that it's kind of coming to a close in one respect because I've enjoyed spending the time chatting with you guys and everything. So, but hey, you know where to find me. Y'all know exactly where to find me. And I've got morning voice today, so there's a little bit of resonance sitting right there in the chest. So enjoy that. Take it for what you will. I can't. Takes his time to shift up. Actually, it feels really comfortable. Let's go. I'm going to take a swig, and we are going to get started. Everybody ready for the weekend? Get my trusty second pair. Probably should clean those bad boys a little bit. How we all doing? Oh, there you are. Hope you can get one. He's on crack rock cocaine for sure. Truth. Bittersweet, but all's well that ends well. My daughter's birthday is tomorrow. Oh, happy birthday for your daughter, Shane, for tomorrow. She's so excited, hyped up. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yes. Afarali, you need a PS5 real fast, and you can send one to me while you're at it. I will miss this, but I will always remember this series with love. Thank you, Nico. Groovy Snake. Hey, Tommy. Yeah. Hey, Groovy Snake. Speaking of which, Groovy Snake, I'm going to shout out a big thank you to you because if I remember correctly, you have in the past taken some of the interviews that I've done and broken them down by time frames, which I really appreciate. I'm sure other people have as well. So thank you for having done that. That's very generous of you and your time, and I'm sure it's been very helpful for other people. It's actually been helpful for myself. So thank you. So big shout out to you. Thank you for that. Let's go and get started. Are we ready? Let's do this. So Higgs, played by my boy, Troy Baker. Troy, the indefatigable Troy Baker. What a pleasure it was to work with this dude and to be able to call a friend who smashed it out of the park. Yeah. So let me just, let's go and hit this. Here's a little bit about Higgs. Well, it's quite a bit about him. And just remember, I'm going to reiterate that some of this stuff may have spoilers. So if you don't want to hear some of this information, please be aware I'm letting you know now. But some of the stuff that I'm going to read in this little bio, we will find throughout the course of his journal. And let's go ahead and have a look at this. Higgs Monaghan, also known as the man in the golden mask. He was a porter and a close associate of Fragile Express until he met and was seduced by Amelie. Higgs acted as the figurehead of the militant separatist group known as the Homo Demons to maintain the independence of Edgenot City on Amelie's behest. Higgs was raised by his uncle early in his life after both of his parents died. He grew up thinking the shelter was the entire world, and his uncle would beat him whenever he asked about the outside world or tried to leave the shelter. Higgs would eventually kill his uncle in self-defense with a knife and witness the body going necro. Higgs took the corpse out and felt the beached things slowly approaching, unknowingly gaining his dooms in the process. In time, he would find out that his powers were triggered by death. Higgs became a porter, being the only job he could do to survive. One time, he delivered medicine to a prepper living close to him, and only to find that he had died. It was too late to take the body to an incinerator. Instead, he took it to BT territory, where he started feeling the BTs reacting to the corpse and began having visions of the beach, leaving Higgs to wonder if he had dooms. Highly meticulous and malicious, Higgs has no qualms nor moral boundaries when orchestrating ruthless acts of slaughter and gleefully participates out of fun and personal enjoyment. Holding an aura of unshakable confidence, charisma, and sarcasm, he rarely loses his cool and consistently maintains a composed and collected personality. He has no hesitation when engineering void outs, killing thousands to instill fear in the cities guided and united under the UCA alliance, and to facilitate the extinction of humanity. Higgs, in a nutshell, right? Interesting. I have a weird respect for Higgs. Like many villains, he has such a tragic backstory. This interview's background makes him a relatable character. Troy is everything these days. Amazing actor. I agree. I agree with all of that. Yes, I do. I think it's like a lot of villains. There is that backstory of what's happened to them and how they've come to be and all of that. And it's interesting because life is what you make it. But, you know, we are a product of our upbringing in some respects, and we are connected to that past in a way that we define ourselves in some respects by those things that have happened to us in our lives. And, you know, and what, you know, but what makes someone tick, you know, there could be a multitude of things, you know, the trauma that one could have experienced. Be mindful. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Higgs was a great villain. Troy goes all out on this side. Yes, agreed. So interesting. So, you know, there's so much to think about with him. He's such a brilliant character. And I think that this journal, like I said, there's 26. So we're going to kind of plow through them because some of them are very short. But I still want to touch on aspects of each entry. So I'm going to go ahead and get going because this is the problem when I'm doing it live. And because I know you're all there, all I want to do is talk to you. I just want to talk to you. And if I could reach through and squeeze you, I'd probably do that as well. But listen, we're going to go move on. Journal 1, given by Higgs. When the writing year is unknown and where is also unknown. And that will be the preface for each entry, but I will remind you of each one anyway. So he writes in his first entry, journal number 1. Today, I made a delivery to a shelter near Middle Knot City. It was my longest trip to date, a new personal best. Back when I was starting out, people tried to warn me off the life, saying it was dangerous for prepper young'uns to make runs and that no one would ever really trust me. But what was I supposed to do? Kids without parents need to eat too. And it's not like I had any skills. 2 arms, 2 legs, whole lot of grit. That's all I had to offer. Worked out okay so far. I bring people what they need, and in return, they do right by me. The more deliveries I make, the more orders I get. Never a porter around when you need one, so as long as you don't fuck up too badly, someone ought to throw you a bone. Helps that I've got a 6th sense for BTs too. It's pretty rare. That is probably one of the reasons why I get so much work. Sometimes people praise me, tell me I'm doing society a service by helping my fellow man. Can't say that factors into it. You know, I'd sooner keep to myself if I could. But I've got to survive somehow. And I sure as hell ain't gonna manage by myself. Higgs, a kid, a loner, a survivor. You know, and that to me in itself is the start of it all, you know. It's that thing when people sort of tell you you'll never be any good, you know, you'll never amount to anything, you know, and you think one day I'll tell them, I'll show them all, you know, I'm going to make it. I'm going to do, you know, make something of myself. And by choosing to make something of oneself, some people see that in a multitude of ways. You can make it, you know, make something of yourself by being a doctor, getting a great education, or being a lawyer, or, you know, any profession. Or you can make something of yourself by going out and deciding I'm going to conquer the world, or I'm going to be, in the negative sense, I'm going to make something, I'm going to make money, and it doesn't matter how I make that money. I'm going to sell drugs. I'm going to, run a prostitution ring. I'm going to, so the flip side of that is people thinking they're making something of themselves because they're making the money, and people equate, making something of themselves sometimes is having money and not having a care in the world, being able to buy whatever you want, throw money here, throw money there, get that car, get that Tesla, get that Ferrari. You know what I mean? And so it really depends on what one's psyche is and how they think I'm making it is going to be, because there's the flip side of it all, and it really does matter how you perceive making it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Higgs shows so much of those super torrential feelings that are a part of the human experience. They are. Too much alone time is no bueno. True. Yet no loyalties. He's only porting for survival. He was addicted to power, for sure. Absolutely. The lore of the Stranding universe is incredible and narrated by resonating Tommies, no less. Thank you. But yeah, so you understand what I mean. So it really does depend on one's thought process and what they perceive making it. So he had a mission, I believe. Interesting. Let's go on. Number 2, journal number 2, entry by Higgs. The writing year, once again, unknown, and where it took place is also unknown. And he writes, another prepper's kicked the bucket. I went to deliver this medicine as usual this morning, but I guess I was pretty damn late. Poor guy wasn't just dead, but on the verge of going necro. Wasn't no time to take him to an incinerator, so I had to dump him in nearby BT territory. Better than leaving him to pop, especially since my own shelter is close by. Gotta look out for number 1. When I dumped him, though, just before he popped, it was like I could feel the BTs reacting to the corpse. Saw the beach, too. Strangest thing, but I'd felt it before. When I first disposed of someone. The sensation was stronger this time, though. No doubt about it. Don't know if this means that I've got dooms, but I'm starting to think there's something special about me. So, who do we think that that first prepper was? Who died without his medication? It's interesting because once again, this is already stating how the selfish side of him is already coming out. Got to look out for number 1. How often do we hear that? And, it's interesting because here's someone who's starting to find his way in the world. And for all intents and purposes, I want to think he wanted to start doing something good. I don't know. I don't really know. The sensation was stronger this time. So he's obviously had that moment where he started to, he doesn't know if this means he has dooms, but he knows what he does know is that there's something special about him, and there truly is, be it good or bad. It's kind of, even though we relate, I think, special to be something good, but he has something. Moving on to 3. So saying, I personally believe he was stuck in monotonous behavior, but then this event changed everything. Yeah, how his shelter was so close, he just dumped the body. He killed his uncle in self-defense. Fragile said that Higgs only wanted to reach more people. I believe his intentions, but he simply got power hungry. Yeah, interesting. Moving on, Journal 3 by Higgs. Writing year was unknown. Where is also unknown. And he writes, a delivery outfit out west heard tell of my BT sensing abilities and has expressed an interest in bringing me on board. Seems they operate outside Bridges' sphere of influence, and they want to leverage my experience and know how to expand their operation. Could be interesting. It's funny. I started making runs out of necessity to stay alive, but that's all changed. I'm an altruist now. I live to help other people. Preppers around these parts rely on me. Hell, they wouldn't last 5 minutes without me. What would my daddy say if he could see me now? He taught me man's his own keeper. But here I am, part of a community, working with other people, bringing the world together. Daddy always told me that the wide, wide world was dangerous, that we had to stay in our shelter, spend our whole life there, die there. Well, fuck that. Community's what it's all about. So, an interesting word, altruist. Yeah, altruist. This definition, unselfish person whose actions show concern for the welfare of others. An altruist. Once again, that is an unselfish person whose actions show concern for the welfare of others, which in some cases kind of feels like it's so unlike him, but he's saying that, he's stating communities what it's all about. This sounds like him, working for the greater good. What would my daddy say if he could see me now? He taught me man's his own keeper, but here I am, part of a community, working with other people, bringing the world together. Yeah, right. But maybe it's interesting that's such an interesting juxtaposition, I think, to see and that side of it and hear him write or read what he's written about certain aspects of all of this. He was feeling so important in that moment that he definitely understood the power of communities. Sure, I think so. Cain, the first murderer, said, "I am my brother's keeper." Sounds like Higgs took this view. Yeah, probably. Moving on. So, altruist, interesting word. Altruist. Journal 4. Written by Higgs, writing year unknown. Where it took place is also unknown. And he writes, "A buddy of mine died today. He was out in the mountains on a delivery and it was so goddamn foggy, I guess he lost sight of the trail. He called me asking for help, but then the line went dead. I saw the void out from here, nearly blinded me. Guess he wandered into BT territory. There's not many of us porters left these days. Not many you could trust to get the job done anyway. Folks quitting or dying, going mule. Attrition's a bitch. If we're to keep on, we're going to need better equipment and someone else who can track BTs. I can still manage sometimes, but my power is getting weaker. I can feel it. Just wish I knew what to do. Because at this rate, I'm fucked. We all are." Another interesting word, attrition. The action or process of gradually reducing the strength of effectiveness of someone or something through sustained attack or pressure. Attrition. Once again, it is the action or process of gradually reducing the strength of effectiveness of someone or something through sustained attack or pressure. And he states, but he's saying his power is getting weaker. Interesting. That's, trying to remember aspects of it. And And anyone out there know why that was? That's where BB started getting used, I believe. That said, he really did start out with good intentions. Yes, I think so. And when Fragile's power isn't enough, he's seduced. But yeah, this is where his story really starts to take a turn. Yeah. So, it's interesting. I think he has every intention of trying to help people, it seems, but I think he's also kind of gone, we're fighting a losing battle in one respect. Who knows? Journal 5 by Higgs, the writing year unknown and where it took place is unknown. And he writes, Ha and Ka, body and soul. The two become separated. You die, in this world at least. The death ain't the end, though. So long as your soul's got a body to come back to, you can be reborn, resuscitated anyway. That's why people built coffins and sarcophagi to preserve the body so the soul had a home it could return to. I learned all this and more from an old book I found, The Wisdom of the Egyptians, chock full of interesting tidbits about death and how to overcome it. Like the golden death masks of the pharaohs, the ones decorated using magical adornments as an indication of the wearer's prestige and power. I tell you what, if we've learned anything from the beach, it's that the Egyptians had it all figured out. That's why I've decided to give myself a mask. Not a death mask, though, but one for living, for ruling. Today's the last day anyone sees my face. I don't need it anymore. And so that is where it's interesting, because I would love to know the dates of the entry dates for where they come. So we're piecing things together by hearing what they're talking about and relating it to where it comes in the story and, certain aspects, and trying to think, is that what he's talking about? I remember something like that happening in the game, but is that the same thing? Giving himself a mask to represent prestige and power. To me, that's already stating where he's headed. He's saying, I don't need a face anymore. I don't need anybody to see my face. But what I do need is, I'm going to take what I learned from the Egyptians and spin it on its head and give you something else to think about. So I'm not going to be dead. You're not going to need to adorn me with a mask because I am dead. I'm going to wear the mask because I am living, and I am going to evoke power. I'm going to emanate all of this prestige and power whilst I'm still living. So he did take that and spin it on its head in that respect. Interesting. The body and soul element, the ha and the ka, which we've touched on in previous interviews before, and how the body is meant to be the soul able to return at some point to the body if it needed to. And he said the Egyptians had it all figured out. Interesting. Moving on. What do we got? Yep, he was a megalomaniac. Can't remember, but why did Higgs made Sam go through the pizza orders? I don't know. We'll hit that. Wow, I think I missed this entry. Well, sorry, Jonathan. I believe he was just trolling. Interesting stuff. I love what you guys write, and I always go back and read everything. Journal 6. Journal 6, written by Higgs. Entry year, writing year unknown, where it took place also unknown. Journal 6. And he writes, a Bridges way station out west just got taken out by terrorists. Used a void out to do it. They dumped a corpse nearby and let it go necro, dropping BTs right in people's laps. Word is, demons heard that Bridges was sending an expeditionary force out west to facilitate the reconstruction of America, or some such. Guess they didn't take kindly to that. Terrorists, separatists, isolationists, all these folks claim America is coming for their freedom, that the old guard wants to put them in chains, make the individual subservient to the collective. They ask, what's it all for in a post-Stranding world? When today's triumph is tomorrow's crater. Daddy used to spout the same tired line, said America never did nothing for nobody. That's why we took to living in a shelter. Better down in the hole than out there under their thumb. Yeah, he was a real saint, my daddy. Tried to run a few times, but he'd just drag me back inside, kicking and screaming, where he'd put those heavy hands of his to work and remind me what would happen if I disrespected his authority. But that's love, isn't it? His way of looking after an orphan child he raised as his own. He was only trying to protect me from the evils of the outside world. I owe him my life, and my powers too. First time I ever sensed a BT was when I held him moments before he went necro, just like when I dumped that prepper's body. My daddy showed me that corpses are precious, powerful things. They're so much more than bombs. Terrorists ought to treat them with proper respect. I thought it was interesting for him to say his comparison about his father dragging him back inside, kicking and screaming, about to put those heavy hands of his to work, which we are, can only presume that that is the beatings that he received from him. And then for him to say, but that's love, isn't it? And is that a tongue-in-cheek kind of response? Or at the time, did he think that's what that really was? You're doing something to save me, but yet you're beating me in the process. But is that love? Interesting. There's so much. You can start to see it unravel just bit by bit, slowly, where this is going to be heading to. Let's head on into Journal 7. I'm going to start plowing through some of these. Journal 7, written by Higgs. Writing year was unknown. It took place somewhere that is unknown. And he writes, I've had us team up with a bunch of porters who service the central part of the country. Had to be done. The writing was on the wall for my crew otherwise. And guess what? Their leaders got dooms. I've got a feeling we're going to be good friends. Demons and terrorists have been getting more aggressive ever since the Bridges expedition team set out, as if BTs and mules weren't enough. Now we've got to keep our eyes peeled for those assholes when we're making runs. All the more reason we've got to come together, get organized. Me and my new partner, we've been talking about consolidating our operation so we can cover the whole continent. If we do, I suppose that would make us like the UCA in some respects. Different structure and methods, but similar ideology. A deep and abiding belief in the importance of community. But the devil's in the details, isn't it? Rules. Structures can't just let people make decisions for themselves. And therein lies the risk. Can't have us repeating the sins of the past with another USA. And demons, well, they ain't about to think for themselves. At the end of the day, a community needs a strong leader. And the God's honest truth is that I'm the only one cut out for it. And truly believes that. Truly believes that. Interesting. Demons. It's interesting, this word demons, which kind of defines itself as out of one's mind or senses, mad, raving, foolish, insane, reckless. Demons. Journal 8 by Higgs, writing year unknown, place and where unknown. He writes, the rumors I'd heard about my new partner's powers don't do her justice. I knew she had dooms, but she's on a whole other level. I'll tell you, I've never seen anything like it. Not only can she perceive BTs, but she can actually use the beach. Compared to hers, my powers are nothing. Parlor tricks courtesy of a few corpses. But it doesn't matter. Not so long as I've got her. Before we met, I was bound by the limitations of my abilities. I was a blind man groping for shadows of a secret realm. But now, because of her, I can actually go to the beach. The beach. With her by my side, I can reshape this world. Not into what it was with the old USA. Not like what Bridges wants. Something new. Something everlasting. Right here and now. A world where we are free to do whatever we goddamn please. Yes. Wanting to reshape the world in his way. You know, a world where we're free to do whatever we goddamn please. You know, I am all for freedom. Being able to do what you goddamn please. But, you know, a world would never survive. You know, a world would never survive without rules in some form or another. There has to be things for people to live cohesively. I think there has to be boundaries. There has to be, because, you know, there's no way if you've got people who are slightly, you know, one end of the spectrum where they're like, I really am going to do what I goddamn please. And so therefore, if you've got something I want, I'm going to take it, you know, and if I don't like something you said, I'm going to pull out a gun and shoot you, you know, and in a world where you say that that is allowed to happen and that there are no consequences or repercussions in a way that makes someone have to pay the price for something they did. I think, you know, that's certainly not a world I want to live in, you know, in that respect. So taking that literally, you know, we're free to do whatever we goddamn please. You know, I think that there has to be some level of what's the word? Law. You know, there has to be a level where we kind of go, these are the boundaries, you know, for protection of, you know, of our kids, of our life. You know, so there needs to be definitely needs to be boundaries. Just looking at some of your, we need order. Yes. Yeah, we do. Moving on to Journal 8, written by Higgs, writing year unknown, where unknown. Sorry. We're moving on to 9. Oh, what I did want to say about it, because in 8, a blind man groping for shadows of a secret realm. What you know, what a great way to describe I think him constantly trying to get to the beach. I don't know what you guys think of that. Your interpretation of, you know, I was bounded by my limitations of my abilities. I was a blind man groping for shadows of a secret realm. You know, send me your definitions of what you think that means. I think it's worded in such a way that it does, you know, but now because of her, I can actually go to the beach. And I think that was his link. That was him, you know, he's always wanted to go back, and that was his way back. It seemed to be on a regular basis if he wanted, you know. And we're going to get into some stuff I know that's coming up. So let's go ahead and move on. So that was 8. Journal number 9. Sorry. Yes, I agree that he means reaching the beach. Thanks to Fragile. Yeah. Journal 9, written by Higgs, writing year unknown, where also unknown. And he writes, my partner's powers are extraordinary. Sure. But deep down, I know the two of us alone don't have what it takes to bring true, lasting freedom to the people. Everything we've done, that we continue to do, no matter how much it may seem to bring people together, it's still a far cry from the way it should be. Timefall, BTs, chiral clouds, all this and more serves to cut us off from the rest of creation. And I have to say, I don't think that's ever going to change. Even people like me and my partner, we have our limits. But now I've met someone who has none. Someone who could save the world from this madness, make it whole again, put our shattered pieces back together. So he's met someone. Now, my thought is it's Amelie, right? Here comes someone's right. Here comes Amelie, this girl. Yeah. He knows how extraordinary Fragile's powers are. And that sort of collaboration, that relationship, which seemed to, in one respect, start out with good intentions, and then we know that things have changed. It's kind of like, you've got something I can use, but now comes along someone else who has something more. I'm gonna dump you, and I'm gonna head to this one because there's something else this person has that I need. And that's typical of someone like his behavior. But in saying that, he's met someone who has none, but someone who could save the world from this madness, make it whole again, put our shattered pieces back together. So sometimes I think he's thinking on for the greater good, and then there's other times that you kind of go, this is just a wolf in sheep's clothing. You can't trust this dude. You can't trust it. We're moving on to Journal 10. Hello from Italy. Bienvenuto. Journal 10, written by Higgs. The writing year is unknown. Where it took place is also unknown. And he writes, Samantha America Strand. Amelie. The moment I met her, I knew she was destined to make us whole again. She told me we'd do it together and even gave me a gift. A bridge baby. It's a BT sensor of sorts, although it looks like a newborn, but it's not. Amelie says it was born on the beach and that it serves as a link between our world and the other side, between me and her too. If I keep it with me at all times. She called it a new child for a new era. I'm not just a delivery guy anymore. I'm a herald for her and her new world. She's given me everything I ever wanted, ever needed. And now I'm free to cut Fragile loose. What did I tell you? She's got something I need, something I want. Bye, Fragile. I'm kicking you to the curb. But I mean, honestly. Yeah. What can you say about that? And went for Amelie hook, line, and sinker, but then she gives him this bridge baby, and it's like his whole world changes. That's what he needs. That's his link between our world and the other side, and his link to her. Nico says, at that point, was he actually using a BB, or was he already using the doll that connected him to Amelie's beach? Interesting question. I think that, is the doll I don't know, is it symbolic? Because I know that in the story, Die Hardman has the doll. He gives that whole lengthy ass monologue about the meeting Amelie on the beach and having the doll, and that's his way to get there. Or is, he actually has a BT that she's given him a bridge baby. So are we referring to the bridge baby as um at all? Let's head on into um to journal 11 and see, because I think some things are going to get cleared up here as we go. Journal, this is also crazy. It's also crazy. Journal 11 by Higgs. Writing year, once again, is unknown, and where it takes place is unknown. And he writes, BB reminds me of a baby doll, but it's no toy, that's for sure. Neither dead nor alive. Half human, half something else. An inhabitant of the in-between, like a mummy, a lump of flesh wrapped around a shriveled yet still beating heart. So many symbols to choose from, all signifying that humanity's reached the end of the road. The Stranding was big number 6, I see that now, and so much more. The void outs, the bodies birthing BTs, all aspects of a single phenomenon that exists solely to wipe us off the face of the earth. We can't stop what's coming. It's inevitable. Putting Humpty Dumpty back together won't change a goddamn thing. And risking life and limb to try is a fool's errand. Why sacrifice what little you've got in the here and now for a future that'll never come? It's wasteful and meaningless. Amelie would agree for sure. Putting Humpty Dumpty back together again. That is, no, you cannot fix the world. Yeah, it's just, it's not going to him, it's not going to change anything. Risking life and limb to try, that's a fool's errand. That's just stupid. It's never going to happen. Why sacrifice what you've got in the here and now for a future that will never come? So he's already being a little pessimistic about where things are headed. But yet before, I felt like he was up for the change. But let's see where it goes. Moving on to journal 12. Written by Higgs, writing year is unknown, and where it takes place is also unknown. And he writes, I met Amelie on the beach again and pressed her for more answers about the Stranding, but she wouldn't give me anything. Maybe she's got nothing left to give. Maybe she's waiting till the time's right. I don't know. I don't care. We all know there's no escaping extinction. I'm struggling to see her angle. Why even pretend to rebuild? Why rail against the inevitable? If there's another layer to this, I can't work it out, and I'm getting sick and tired of trying. If she's not going to let me in on her plans, I'm going to have to assume the worst and take matters into my own hands. Give humanity the coup de grace myself. Just need the power to do it. Already sort of making the demands and feeling that is, his patience is waning, it seems. He also probably got brainwashed by Amelie into wanting to make the sixth extinction happen right there and then. Green Snake, Higgs recording these on an audio recording while sitting in his room, feet kicked up, eating pizza. Coup de grace is this little French phrase that if you don't know what it means, I'm going to tell you because I wrote it down. Coup de grace. A final blow or shot given to kill a wounded person or animal. Coup de grace. A final blow or shot given to kill a wounded person or animal. So it's like putting something out of its misery, I suppose. I'm going to give you the final shot. You're already wounded. let me just finish you off, for the sake of you suffering, and maybe he's saying giving humanity the coup de grace himself. Is that giving humanity the final blow before uh, to kill a wounded person or an animal? Is that reference referring to giving it that last uh, thing and just going to just blow this whole damn place up? Interesting. 13, moving on, Journal 13, written by Higgs. The writing year is unknown. Where it takes place is unknown. And he writes, for the first time we hear him say, "Dear Diary, today I nuked Middle Knot City, wiped it clean off the map. Didn't carry the bomb myself, of course. Fragile did the honors. Delivered my mercy to the people like a good little porter. I'm sure she's surprised, but she shouldn't be. Death and destruction are part and parcel of the human condition, and bringing people together only exacerbates that. Be careful what you wish for, eh? It's like when our ancestors came from the old world to the new and brought their old world diseases with them. Natives had no immunity, and over half died in the blink of an eye. Bam. And we've only come up with better, more effective ways of killing ever since. The network's just another means of hastening the end. This was always logical conclusion of our efforts, mine and Fragile's. Maybe that's why I partnered up with her, because in my heart of hearts, I knew it was building to this." So, interesting enough, you guys know, he nuked Middle Knot City, but tricked Fragile into carrying the nuke into Middle Knot City, which was then obliterated and killed everybody. That is something you can find out if you want to know more about it and you didn't know that. So, spoiler alert. And saying that it's interesting how our ancestors came from the old world and came to the new world, but brought their old diseases with them. So we had no immunity, and over half the people died in the blink of an eye. And so we've come up with better, more effective ways of killing ever since, probably just within our own country. His way of thinking is crazy. But I thought it's interesting because I think it's the first time and only time in Journal 13 that he actually says "Dear Diary," which I found a little bit amusing. What do you got? "I'll take the damage and the goods." Fragile. Yeah. Nico said, "Thanks, Professor Jenkins." Anytime. Yeah, interesting. And the fact that he tricked her into, what an ass, man. And there's more to that story of what happens between him and Fragile, to which I'm sure you all know. I'm moving on. Journal 14, written by Higgs, writing year unknown, where it takes place also unknown. Sam Porter. Where to begin? Dooms, repatriate, lone wolf, Amelie's adopted brother, motherfucker. The impression I get is that he's a loner who found meaning in being a good Samaritan. Yeah, I tried that mask on for size once upon a time. Sweet little Amelie, though. She buys into his act. Thinks he's got what it takes to help her make America whole again. I'll tell you what. The more I look into it, the more it seems like he might actually be a true believer. Fucking hell. Anyways, he's a dead man walking, even with Amelie's help. He'll be in Central before long, and the second he shows, I'm bringing a shit ton of BTs down on his head and turning that place into a crater. Then it's bye-bye, Sammy Porter. Bye-bye, Bridges HQ. Bye-bye, Expedition Team. Jealous much? There's got to be something, Uh, it seems that the tides have turned now once again, because Amelie is Sam is the for all intents and purposes the potential savior, and Higgs feels, I think, competitive, thinking, you know, where there's this hatred, this immediate hatred for him. It seems. Uh, he's saying that he tried the good mask on for size, once upon a time, um, and thinking that she's buying into the act of Sam being the good guy. It seems. Um, but he does actually believe that Sam could be the true believer. Uh, and that's interesting, because I think Sam is working towards the greater good, but all he can think is to destroy this process, because maybe he thinks that if I can get rid of Sam, then I will still be in the position I am in, and maybe the whole relationship, and I mean, we can still do what I set out to do. But then he still wants world domination. But I just think there's this so much jealousy and hatred towards Sam, So interesting. Moving on, we are up to 15. Journal 15, written by Higgs, writing year unknown, and where it takes place is also unknown. And he writes, Sam's still alive. Not even a void out's enough to keep a repatriate down. Sticks in my craw. Second expedition got wiped out, obviously, but Sam seems happy to head west all by himself. Stupid fuck's crazier than me. Or maybe just desperate. Still can't figure why rebuilding the nation's so important to him. Well, whatever. He wants to keep at it? He can be my guest. Even if he still had the others backing him up, it wouldn't make a difference. Ending's already been written. I've worked it out. Worked out exactly how it's going to go down. But Dooms alone isn't enough. I need a greater power to finish the job. To rain down fire and brimstone on these modern day Sodoms and Gomorrahs. Yes, it isn't enough. He needs a greater power to finish the job. And once again, it's him, taking the power. He wants to rain down fire and brimstone on these modern Sodom and Gomorrahs. It's just, it's biblical. It's potentially what we know to become this huge, huge destruction. And the fact that I love that he's, you can't keep a repatriate down, and it really irks him. He's his phrase of "it sticks in my craw," But he's saying that Sam's happy to head west all by himself, and thinking that he's crazier, stupid fuck's crazier than me, or is he just desperate? So in one respect, he's crazier than I am. He's going to do it, but then, or is he just desperate? So there's always that flip back and forth, kind of wanting and understanding to be what Sam is. And then at the same time, it's like giving someone a compliment, but then chopping them down, Moving on, Journal 16, written by Higgs. The writing year is unknown, where it takes place unknown. And he writes, I've discovered the truth about the Death Stranding. Amelie's powers have nothing to do with Dooms. She's destruction incarnate, the angel of the Death Stranding, the extinction entity. I understand now what my true role is. The bridge that will deliver her judgment to this world. The executor of the end. No one knows. Not even Sam. But they will. $16. Wow. He has it. He's on a mission. He's on a mission. He understands what his true role is. He is going to be the bridge that will deliver her judgment to the world. He's going to be the executor of the end. Going on. If I had any money, I'd pay him to read a book. Thank you. So menacing. He sure loves being at the center of attention. Oh, 100%. 100%. Journal 17, written by Higgs. The writing year is unknown. Where is also unknown. Sam's arrived in Port Knot City, and with Fragile to boot. Think I'll meet them there and bring a BT or two along for the ride. It's past time I showed Bridges how powerful I've become. Come one, come all. We'll have ourselves an annihilation party, and when it's over, there'll be no one left to come between me and Amelie and the end of the world. Short, sweet, and to the point. So he knows that Fragile and Sam are in Port Knot City. But yet he still wants to show Bridges how powerful he's become. And he wants to have that party, that big blowout. And to keep anything from coming between him and Amelie and his destruction. You know. 18. Journal 18. Written by Higgs. Writing year unknown. Where it takes place is unknown. And he writes, God damn, is Sammy boy stubborn. Just ain't the quitting type. Seems it's rubbing off on Amelie, too. The girl's trying to fight her true nature. Flip the script. For all the good it'll do her. What difference does it make if it ends tomorrow or a million years from now? The planet's 4.6 billion years old, and the universe, God only knows. Humanity's entire history's a blip on that time scale. What's the fucking point of fighting for a fraction longer? Anyways, Sam and Fragile made it to Lake Knot City, which is just as well. I reckon my old partner's due for a stroll down memory lane. A saunter through the crater she carved out with that nuke of mine. Come to think of it, maybe Sam ought to walk it with her. Yeah. I think I'll have him make a special delivery for me. And what is that special delivery? Class? What is indeed that special delivery? He sees that Sam isn't, Sam is not the quitter. He, through everything, just playing the game. He is, he has a mission and he's going to get through it. That is the point. No matter the obstacles that he encounters, it's the fights, it's the constant, getting through BT territory, through rain, through sleet and storm and snow and all of that. Poor Sam. Poor Sam. But he does it. He can do it. He can do it. But yeah, that special delivery. Moving on to Journal 19, written by Higgs. The writing year is unknown and where it takes place is unknown. And he writes, well, shit. Sam and Fragile managed to dispose of my nuke before it went off. They weren't smart enough to see through my disguise, but something must have tipped them off. Probably what I wrote on the tag. I know I should have resisted the temptation, but come on. Who the hell reads that shit these days? And now he's halfway to the coast. But he's in my neck of the woods now. And my boys ain't about to let up. We're going to make him regret ever fucking with me and mine. Once again, short, sweet, to the point. At this point, Sam is halfway to the coast, halfway to completing going west. But this is a crucial time, it would seem. He's saying, I know that I should have resisted the temptation, but come on. He's written on this tag. Can anyone remember what he wrote on the tag? Shout that out. They weren't smart enough to see through my disguise, but something must have tipped them off. Probably what I wrote on the tag. I should have resisted the temptation. But who reads that anyways? Cracked me up. And how it just said nuclear warhead. Thermal nuke. There we go. There we go. There's the answer. And so he said he should have resisted, but already he was leaving a clue, or, I should have resisted the temptation, but come on, who the hell reads this shit these days? So he didn't think it would be something that would be read necessarily. But it was, and maybe that is the reason why it was all taken care of. Journal 20, written by Higgs, writing year unknown. Where it took place is also unknown. The fuck was that storm that sucked up Sam? A supercell or whatever? I hooked up my BB just before I arrived, and it started shaking and blinking, and it's all gone sideways. And there's something else out there. Something all kinds of fucked up. Don't need BB to tell me that. There is indeed. Moving on, Journal 21. Written by Higgs, writing year unknown, where it takes place is unknown. And he writes, I've got Amelie, fucking finally. She's trapped in Edge Knot City. A horde of BTs all around. She's not going anywhere now. No. I'm going to take good care of my sweet little angel of death. My extinction entity. We got plans, me and her. As for you, Sammy boy, you're going to learn what it means to really suffer. It's ramping up. It's ramping up. Journal 22. This entry by Higgs, the writing year was unknown. Where it takes place is unknown. And he writes, welcome to the Edge, Sam. You're a real asshole. But I've got to admit, you've got grit. You remind me of me in that regard. And because we share a connection to Amelie. She gave you your dream catcher, me, my Quipu. But you've never seen her face, have you? Never looked her in the eye and seen her for what she truly is. Time to wake up and smell the ashes, Sammy boy. Time for me to tell you, to tell everyone, the truth that hides at the heart of the Stranding. You're going to love it. I'd go grab some shut-eye at a distro center or whatever if I were you. We've got a showdown coming, and you're going to want to be fighting fit. Just don't keep me waiting too long, you hear? Oh. Yes, battle. The battle coming. You're an asshole, Sam. Look, he's just got such hatred, but he's also saying, but you've never seen her face. You haven't actually seen what I've seen. You haven't been in that position. But it's time for me to let you know, let everybody know the truth of the Stranding. So he is really about to pull it out, I think. And also, I think there is that rival. He actually sees Sam. He says you're a real asshole, but I've got to admit, you've got some grit. And it's true. He's got determination and the fight. Sam's our boy. He's not going to give it up. Moving on, Journal 23. Nearly getting there to the end. This was written by Higgs. The writing year is unknown, and where it takes place is also unknown. And he writes, you're all alone now. You've lost everything. Your mask, her Quipu, the BB doll, gone. You thought you had the power, that you were the one fated to lead them unto extinction. And here you are, alone. You thought you were in control, that this was your role, your dream, the verge of victory, of oblivion for one and all. Herald, executor, pawn, God particle? A stupid name for a stupid goddamn fool. This was your life, Higgs. Your tale, told by an idiot, full of sound and righteous fury. Wow, talk about beating yourself up. Beating yourself up good and proper. Go ahead, do it. Uh, in one respect, it's kind of interesting to hear him, belittle himself, I suppose, in that way. You thought you had the power, that you were the one fated to lead them unto extinction. And now here you are alone. You weren't in control. Moving on to 24. Written by Higgs, the writing year is unknown, and where it takes place is unknown. And he writes, my first memory is of looking up at the ceiling of our shelter, as a baby bawling my eyes out, and all of a sudden the hand of God comes into view, blotting out the still sky. Daddy lifts me up, not gentle, but not hard. He shouts some stuff, but it's all gibberish. I can't make heads or tails of it. He ain't my real daddy, though. That one died before I was born, and Mama soon after, of disease or something. I don't know. Her brother took me in, whisked me away from that shelter reeking of piss and death, and brought me here. Daddy number 2. He never really took to it. He was an ugly, violent man, full of anger with nowhere to go. Tried to love me in his own way, but I don't know if he ever had it in him. Daddy told me our shelter was our world, and I believed him. I grew up thinking no one but us two existed. Then when I got a little older, I started asking questions. Simple questions about where the food came from, that kind of thing. Got smacked upside the head for my troubles, but try as he might, he couldn't beat the curiosity out of me. One day I peeked at his monitor. It was the first glimpse I'd ever caught of the outside world. I pestered Daddy about it, and you bet that I caught holy hell for it. But I wore him down, and he came clean and admitted there was a whole world out there, soaked to the bone by timefall and overrun by demons that would eat me up. It occurred to me later that his fear-mongering probably got my mama killed, filling her head with his hysterics about the dead walking the earth and the only safe haven being 6 feet under. Well, he really paints the picture, his upbringing as a child. His mom and his dad died, but, he goes to live with this uncle who doesn't really have a clue about how to deal with the child and clearly has his own issues, to which he then takes out on Higgs. And also to grow up thinking that this was the only world for him, that nothing else existed, until he did get a peek at the monitor, and his first glimpse he'd ever caught of the outside world. That's got to be traumatic in itself, just simply because of growing up not knowing anything else. And then all of a sudden you find out, point blank that, okay, you've been lying about this. There is something out there. But he's saying try as he might, he couldn't beat the curiosity out of me. And I think that stays with him. I think that the curiosity stays with Higgs through his life, that he has got to figure out how to make things work for him. There's that curious side of him and also that determination I think that he has, like Sam has, but maybe in a different way. I don't know. Thanks for this. Kept you waiting, huh? Yeah. As someone who was extremely sheltered as a kid, Higgs hit very close to me. Wow. Yeah. So Guru's thinking, yeah, Higgs has trouble making connections from the start because he grew up away from people. Yeah. So his social skills are just not great. You don't have that ability to deal with other humans in a way that is how it should be done. So interesting, but what a journey. Heading into 25, uh, written Journal 25, written by Higgs. The writing year, once again, is unknown. Where it takes place is unknown. And he writes, my mama entrusted me to her brother, so he had no choice but to raise me as best he could. Say what you will about the man, but he had himself a sense of obligation. He might even have harbored a measure of affection for me, but whatever was in his heart, he expressed with his hands, his fists. Any hopes and dreams he might have had for me, for us, fell by the wayside pretty quick. We slipped into a daily routine of warnings to stay the fuck inside, bookended by beatings to drive the point home. I think sometimes he sincerely believed that was the only way to protect me. But I wasn't about to go on living like that. Can't cage a young boy's spirit. If I'd stayed, I'd have died, body and soul. I had to get out. Started hoarding supplies in secret, but he caught on. That was the beginning of the worst beating yet. He was grabbing anything and everything within reach that could be used as a weapon, tearing our shelter apart, smashing furniture, all the while wailing like a wounded animal, tears streaming down his face. He pinned me down, tears and spit flying in my face as he blubbered on about me not understanding his pain. His fucking pain. His hands round my neck, darkness creeping in from the corners. His fucking pain. His fucking pain. A kitchen knife in my hands. In his neck. His hands. His fucking hands. They grow weak. And he just deflates. Like a balloon. All over me. I roll him off and I look into his glassy eyes filled with his fucking pain and our steel sky. Wow. Powerful moment to imagine. You can literally picture all of that. And when you think about it, it'd be interesting if there was ever a movie or a TV series done of Death Stranding and incorporating these backstories and, Higgs's journal, be interesting to see from his point of view. Maybe an episode could be, Higgs's journal, where we get that insight to this character and you see these scenes. You can see it dramatically being played out fully and also emotionally disturbing, but then you kind of understand what makes a person get to that point when you're constantly being beaten and lied to and all of these things where you just go, I'm not going to take that anymore. I can't take it. Something's got to give. I have a life and I want to live. I don't want to die. And I certainly don't want to die this way by the hands of a man who clearly doesn't love me in the way that I feel, I should be or am or deserving of, because let's face it, when he was a kid, I don't think his intentions were bad intentions. He just wanted to be like everybody else, I think, until things shift one's mind, where traumatic things happen and something clicks or ticks over that you kind of go, yeah, I'm not going to live this way, but now I'm going to just pay everybody back. Now I'm just going to wreak havoc on everybody, because the world's done me dirty. And he knows that was the beginning of the worst beating yet, but it was the blubbered about the father blubbering about not understanding his pain, and yet all the while inflicting pain. What a a sort of strange position. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you don't understand. What about my pain? What about me? My pain. You're like, dude, you're doing, this is the end. This is the end of it. Crazy. Heading into the final entry of the journal number 26, written by Higgs. The writing year is unknown. Where it takes place is unknown. And he writes, I didn't know how to feel after. I spent the next night next to him, my mind a blank canvas. In the back of it, a nagging voice saying I had to dispose of it. Daddy hadn't told me much, but he had told me about how bodies go necro. Pop BTs and all that. Made for a good bedtime story. So I knew what would happen if I let him lie. Death would come into our home and turn it into a crater. His stink was starting to fill up the room. I had to deal with him, had to get him out, get him as far away as possible. So I got my arms under his and dragged him out into a new world with a new sky. Bigger, emptier, bare rock dotted with bushes all around. Mountains. Fucking mountains. Off in the distance. Chiral clouds hugging their peaks. My knees started getting wobbly and the world began to spin. But I knew the clock was ticking. Eyes down. Gotta deal with Daddy. I'd been moving at a steady clip when I saw it. Chiralium coming off Daddy. Little motes of shimmering light. I was out of time. I laid him down in the dirt, but before I let go, I had a vision. My hands, still resting on his body, disappeared, vaporized into fine mist. Poof. And then I felt another presence. A BT, coming slow but sure, like it'd been walking since the beginning of time. Daddy's keeper. That was the first one I sensed. But it wasn't the last. For a long while after, I remained awakened to their presence. A sixth sense. Daddy's parting gift to me. Over time, it'd fade, but I knew how I got it. And I knew how to get it back. All I needed was another body. And I got real good at making them. Death for life. Theirs for mine. A fair exchange. Well, and there you have it. It's pretty crazy. All of that. He's saying he doesn't know how to feel about it, and knowing what he has to do, because he's been taught about what he has to do, and he has to get rid of it. But it was that moment where he saw it. He saw the chiralium coming off the little motes of shimmering light, as he describes it, that he was out of time. But he had that vision in another presence of a BT. But it was interesting because it's like the Grim Reaper. He was saying he saw it coming slow but sure, like it had been walking since the beginning of time. It was Daddy's keeper, and you could just imagine this slow moving, intimidating BT coming. And it was, it was just something that it was dark. It was in a place where, everything just the clouds, everything became heavy and dark and all of that. And it was, very scary. Um, but he's saying that it was the first one he sensed, but it wasn't the last. And for a long while after, he remained awaking to their presence. But he's saying it's a parting gift to him. And are we to presume that he has the ability by touching, being that connected to death, that he gets his power from the BT? He's saying, I knew how I got it, and he knows how to get it back. All he needed was another body. So he got real good at making them. And was that by killing people and using that process? And he's saying death for life, theirs for mine, a fair exchange, you know. So yeah, it's just interesting, all of that. But there you have it. That is episode 8. 2 more to go. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. And it was, almost an hour and a half. So listen, thank you guys so much. Don't forget, leave your thoughts and stuff, and I'll definitely read all the comments and everything. Nico, this has been my favorite episode yet. And Owen, Tommy, congrats on being featured in the new Addams Family series. I'm so happy. Thank you. Thank you very much. And for those of you who haven't heard, yes, I'm going to be joining Tim Burton's Netflix series entitled Wednesday, which is Wednesday from the Addams Family. So I'm very excited about that. Extremely excited. I will be playing the character of Mayor Walker. So it'll be an interesting storyline. So yes, very excited about that, and a few other projects that are coming out that I can't wait for you to find out about, which I'm very excited as well. So there's a few things coming all at once. So just keep a lookout. I'll keep things posted for you as well. But thank you all so much. Don't forget that Monday is going to be episode 9. I will get a little video or something out just to remind people. That will be episode 9, and that's Lucy's report. So that'll be interesting because there's a lot of information. For those of you who don't know, you can Google who Lucy is. And just to say a massive thank you once again to everyone who's supported the series thus far. I look forward to the final 2 with you and sharing the time and stuff again. And I hope that you all are keeping well. You stay safe out there. If you are out there to get vaxxed, go do it. Let's work together. We got this. We can do it. Whatever your choices are your choices. But I would highly suggest that please, 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 let's all unite. And with that said, I'm going to let you guys all go. I know you can all start your day. You can start your weekend. I'm going to start mine. And have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you again for joining me. I've enjoyed it so much. You guys are absolutely brilliant. And I can't wait to read all of your comments and everything. Thank you so much for joining. So the only thing I have left to say is keep on keeping on. Farewell.